Yeah. Start the show.
Let's start the show.
Hey, good evening, everybody. I am Chuck Rogers. I'm a licensed professional counselor and licensed marriage and family therapist.
And I'm Keith Dunn, and I'm a network engineer.
And together we are Tabletop Coffee, and each week we tackle hard issues, doing life, doing it well, right?
Yeah, being bold and never, ever bitter.
And tonight we're going to talk about it's just business.
Just business. Yeah.
You've heard that, right? I mean, it's just business.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when people want to, I think, cover themselves for acting badly or communicating poorly, they can just sit back and they can cover themselves by saying, well, it's just business.
Yeah. We did a video a year or so ago.
Yeah, we
I think we
did.
called it She Quit with 2 Days Notice.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I had an employee who I hired to obviously take care of things in our business. And while her counterpart was on vacation, she quits so that I had nobody to cover the office. And she quit with 2 days notice.
Oh, and that was just not the right way to handle that.
Yeah. And at that point, we did a show on it about how I was handling it personally and trying to handle it professionally as well.
Right.
But we've talked for a long time about how maybe we need to do a video on that from a different lens. And one of the lenses is, as I was talking to her about this and confronting her on it, she said, I know, Chuck, I hate to do this to you.
Right.
And I talked to my husband about it, but he said to me, honey, it's just business. So it was like it was okay
Right.
to be unethical and to
Yes.
just give a 2 days notice while my other employee who's covering the desk was on vacation and gone at the time. So that was the rationale, is it's okay to do wrong to somebody if it's business.
Yeah, and I remember going through that with you, and I mean, it weighed heavy on
Oh,
you.
yeah.
And luckily you had somebody who's just wonderful who stepped in and took
did.
over during that time, but it wasn't something that you were expecting to have to do.
No.
And it worked out okay in the end. But yeah, I mean, think about it. How do you feel when you have somebody who does something and they just say, "Oh, well, it's just business"? Isn't it supposed to be a personal relationship with people, especially as believers?
Oh, yeah.
We're supposed to act in a different way, and it's not just business.
No, the standard is higher.
Yeah, I mean, everything we do in life affects the people around us.
This was not just an isolated incident, though. I have had other people with whom I've had signed contracts
Yeah.
who are believers.
Right.
And they broke these contracts with me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had one not too long ago who broke a contract with me.
Mm-hmm.
We came up with another agreement that was going to last for 90 days, and that person only kept the agreement for about half of that. It was about 45 days. So
yeah.
broke 2 contracts with me in a very, very short period of time.
Right.
And the option is to go to court over it, but you and I believe that
Yeah.
it's wrong for a believer to take another believer to court.
Yes.
And that's actually in my
correct.
contract that I tell people that I believe that it's against God's word
Right.
for me to take them to court, but I remind them that they're taking an oath before God.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even enough as of late to keep this person committed to their contract.
Yeah, that's such a tough thing to go through, and I think everybody can relate to
I think so,
this. I think most people will be able to relate to this, whether it's having work done. You know, even if you don't have your own business, you may have hired somebody to do work around your house, and they didn't do the job properly,
Yeah.
or whatever it may be, and they're thinking from their side, well, it's just a business transaction. But I really do believe that the decisions that we make, when we make them in the wrong direction, it can be so hurtful to someone on the other side.
Yeah. We're to keep our word even when it hurts.
That's right.
We're to be people of our word.
Yes, that's right. I'm always dealing with things like that myself. It's not really from a business perspective, because I feel like I am extremely ethical and will bend over backwards
You have done
for clients. Okay. And so I think in the workplace, I try to be very careful with that. But, there are times when you're sitting back, and if you have somebody else doing something for you and they've not done it exactly right, and then having to take that other side, kind of like what the position you were in, having to swallow all of that and deal with it because you're not going to go to court with this person.
No.
So you have lost all your leverage, but I don't think as believers we need to look at it as a place of leverage, but do you work with that person to bring them up and help them to make better decisions as they move forward? We've talked about that.
In 3 of the 4 cases, either had 4 or 5 cases where people broke contracts with me.
Right.
In 3 of the 4, anyway,
Right.
I really endeavored to talk with that person and confront
Right.
in love with what I consider to be wrong behavior. And it wasn't heard
Yeah.
in any of the cases. And one of the people wouldn't even talk with me about it.
Yeah.
So I think you do. I think you try to reach back. I think
Sure.
you try to have that conversation. If it's heard, it's heard. If it's not, well,
There's nothing you can do because, well, there's stuff you can do, but
do you really want to do that?
yeah, do you really want to go down that road?
And I don't.
No. And we also have to look at it, as our relationships move forward and showing God's love. And I think that can be a roadblock. It almost feels like a roadblock because you're sitting there and you're saying, okay, I need to show God's love, but I don't really want to right now.
Yeah,
No.
we're still called to, though.
Yeah, but we're still called to, so you have to back it up and make decisions that, from the human perspective, you wouldn't want to make.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that's a good takeaway from this.
I think so, yeah. So this is a different dialogue because a lot of
Yeah,
times
it
we'll
is.
bring up a topic, we'll talk about it, and then try to kind of put it to bed, so to speak, and have
Yeah.
kind of an answer or at least an intervention or a tool.
Exactly.
And tonight the only intervention is keep your word even when it hurts.
Yeah.
Be a
that's right.
person of honor.
Yeah. So if you've run into something like this, why don't you go ahead and put it in the comments
Yeah.
down below so we know, what's going on with you. And it may be something that we can reach back out and actually build a show around because there's so many
Yeah,
things
great
going
idea.
on. Yeah. So tonight was a little bit different. We didn't have all the answers, but we threw something out for you to think about. Be sure to subscribe and ding that bell so you're notified of any upcoming episodes.
Make sure to like it.
Yep. Share this one with your friends.
Thanks, everybody.